How's it going, everyone? As you may have known by now, we recently lost our dog, Crew. Now, if you don't know, Crew was approximately 15 years old when he passed, and we had him for probably about 7 of those years. So it's been about a week since he passed. I think we're kind of right in the midst. Maybe we're kind of in the hump of going over the grieving process, but we really wanted to do this video, I think, to kind of help with that a little bit and just kind of take the time to remember him.
Some of our viewers, especially the ones that have been watching us for many years, have come to fall in love with Crew. So I thought this would be a nice thing to do, just taking some time to remember him because he was such a good boy.
He looks golden. It's golden with his lights coming down, his coat's all golden, it's shiny. Like he's an angel from heaven. Crew, are you an angel from heaven? Are you an angel from heaven? So let's talk a little bit about how Crew even came to live here. It's kind of a story in and of itself. He was a rescue dog. And where did he come from?
I think it was Utah or something.
Yeah.
He was about to be euthanized. We don't know too much about his history before that point, why he ended up in a shelter. This rescue group was able to get him before he was euthanized. I think he actually had a mate, a female dog that was with him, and she didn't make it, unfortunately. But Crew was the lucky one, and he was rescued, and he traveled across the country to Wisconsin. And that's where my brother adopted him.
Peter went into the rescue, and Crew actually chose him.
My brother said that he just came charging right up. He jumped up on him, put his paws on his shoulders, and just looked him right in the face, started licking him and stuff. The guy that was operating the rescue said, well, looks like he chose you. You better take him.
Love at first sight, and then Peter's been his human ever since.
But then in 2017, my brother came to live with us, and he brought Crew along, and then Crew became part of our lives.
Lived with us for a while when we were in the city, and then, throughout our whole adventure here, Crew's been a part of that. You ready to move, Crew? He's got his leash on. He's ready to go. You excited? Oh yeah, you could tell that's his excited face. Maybe not. Hey, buddy. Hey. Oh.
Yeah, Peter ended up moving to the city, and he decided he couldn't take Crew with him, so we took care of Crew then full time.
He became our dog, but Peter was still his human.
That was our first dog, and it wasn't an intentional thing, but unusual circumstance and an unusual dog. Usually dog trainers will say that an Akita is not a good dog for a first-time dog owner. They can be challenging. They have different mannerisms and things than a lot of different breeds, so that took some getting used to.
Mm-hmm. He was a special dog. Akitas they're kind of crazy dogs to begin with, and he was very much emblematic of that breed.
People say that Akitas are kind of cat-like in their behaviors, and we saw some of that with Crew. Akitas can be very clean. They're almost like self-cleaning, like cats. They'll lick themselves a lot, and he did that often. But also, he was a fierce hunter, pretty much fearless when it came to any kind of animal, regardless of the size. Even animals much larger than himself, he would want to go after. He had a very strong prey drive.
Whether it was prey or he thought it was a threat, he'd be willing to go after it. Like she said, absolutely fearless. His one thing was protecting his home and his family.
I think we had a recurring theme of him going after cows, because we have a lot of cows that kind of range free around the area.
He absolutely hated cows.
Yeah.
They were his arch nemesis. Crew's getting to see the cows.
I kind of wish that we would have been able to let him kind of roam around our property like we do with our dog Yuvia. It just wasn't possible with that prey drive. We had to keep him on a leash. We didn't know what would happen if he was able to roam free and then some kind of animal would come.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like Yuvia, she spots a cow now. She might, well, just kind of look at it, keep an eye on it. But he would definitely go after it and try and kill it. Or any kind of animal, like a deer,
Right.
rabbit.
Anything. Without regard for his own safety or anyone else's. So yeah, that was always a concern for us.
So I was out walking Crew this morning, and look who it is. His friends showed up again. You can tell how excited he is to see them.
But, you know, even though he couldn't roam around off leash, we did try to take him on lots of walks every day, nice long walks. We took him hiking on trails, took him to parks.
Want to go run around at the park? Ooh, he's excited already. Want to go off-road?
Stay on the trail.
So drink some creek water, is that okay?
Oh my gosh.
Get in the water!
Come on, you got it.
Oh. Hey! In fact, he loved those morning walks, you know, just he'd want to keep going on forever. And then when on the way back, and then he started getting all sluggish, like he's disappointed that we're going back, and he'd kind of have to kind of keep pulling him, and he'd kind of look back. Like, there's things we haven't seen yet.
Another thing about akitas that probably most Akita owners will know is they'll affectionately call their dogs bears because they look kind of bear-like.
They got these big, massive heads and these big paws.
Yeah. Thick necks, stocky bodies, and kind of proportionately shorter legs. Some people say he looks like a teddy bear. And I think his personality was kind of like that too. I mean, sometimes he would be more like an angry grizzly bear, and you gotta watch out then. But sometimes he was a sweet, cuddly teddy bear. I mean, sometimes he got really crazy. He could get kind of aggressive, and he had this like crazy energy.
Crew.
What did you do? Oh my goodness. Jeez. The craziest thing I think I've ever seen him do is him chewing on barbed wire. I've never seen or heard of a dog do that before that. But if like he'll see a cow on the other side of some barbed wire and he can't get at it, you're holding him back maybe too close to that barbed wire, he'll start chewing on it.
But he was a good guardian and just naturally very protective.
You know, even when he was relaxing, whether it be outside or inside, he was always facing the door.
Yeah, any entrance. Or if he was outside, yeah, he would be facing the gate. He's always watching for any potential threats.
You on guard duty? Oh, keep up the good work, buddy.
And he was not automatically trusting of other people.
Even people, you know, if he doesn't know them, then you got to be cautious around him. Yeah, he doesn't let people into his inner circle easily. Look at this. This guy has no idea we have a visitor. Oh.
You keeping watch over us? You're doing a good job. He's a good boy. Good boy.
But I think for all his ferocity, he had a tender side. You know, he got scared of things too. And it was kind of funny because, you know, with animals, like he would go after whatever, like if a lion jumped out, he would probably fight the lion. But the wind?
He was scared of the wind.
We get some strong winds here sometimes, and he would get really anxious.
Crew, what's the matter? You don't like the wind, huh? Big scary dog, scared of the wind. Anything he can bite, he ain't afraid of.
And he didn't like to be alone either.
Oof, that's the worst. He definitely had separation anxiety. Oh, I miss you too, buddy. I was so scared. I was so scared. How dare you leave me behind? Are we cool now? Are we cool? Are we cool? Oh, we're cool. I mean, Peter's even told stories of when he had to leave Crew alone, and I think he's chewed through doors, or was that a wall?
Both.
Through doors, walls, just chew through them. I think he ended up eating some carpeting. Yeah, that was a big thing. It's like we almost couldn't leave him alone at all. And he's excited because we're standing over by the truck.
Oh, yeah.
Both of us were down there by the truck, so that he was just absolutely losing it.
That triggers him.
Oh, yeah. Don't go anywhere without me. Don't go anywhere without me.
Keep going anywhere. We're not going anywhere.
We're not going anywhere. Don't worry. Don't worry.
And sometimes Crew was just a sweetie.
Occasionally, like playing with toys. You could kind of play with them a bit, and he loved belly rubs, just like any dog. Mm-hmm. He loved attention, loved pets.
I called him my Crudy Pie. But I remember the first time when it seemed like he was starting to trust me or care about me. That was when we were still living in the city. it was kind of a chaotic time. And so I was very stressed out. I was feeling very anxious, and I would have these panic attacks. One time I had a panic attack, and I think I went outside for a little bit, kind of calmed down, and I came back inside and I decided to lay down on the bed for a while, so I still wasn't feeling well. Then I think my brother came in to the room to check on me, and Crew came with him. I started petting Crew. His fur is so soft, especially on his head, is like the softest, like plush sort of feeling. I remember just petting his head, and it was calming me down. And then he kind of just leaned up against me. It was just such a simple, sweet gesture, you know, very calm. It meant a lot to me at the time.
A warrior spirit, but a gentle soul.
I think as our longtime viewers might remember, Crew had an alter ego of sorts, and we called him Inspector Crusoe.
And he took that job very seriously. I mean, of course, any packages had to be inspected, any groceries coming in, all has to be verified. Any work that we're doing out here, all has to get passed by the inspector.
Yes, anytime anything was different, he would notice right away, and he would have to go and check it out, investigate.
So I'd like to think as we're progressing out here, Inspector Crusoe is still keeping an eye on how everything progresses and changes out here.
Another thing about Crew, which is probably more common with dogs, is he loved bones. He loved burying things like bones.
Crew is also really good at finding dead things.
Yes.
So whether it be rabbits, coyotes, or even cows, just out when we were taking them for walks, he would find them. And sometimes he would bring back souvenirs. And then he would bury them all over the place. He did this thing where he would constantly like bury a bone, then he would go back to that spot, dig it up, and then move it someplace else. Mm-hmm. That was important business back in the day.
Yeah.
Crew loves it. Here you go.
Crew was a pretty tough dog, and he's been through a lot in his life. Can you remember the time when he got bit by a snake?
Yeah, very clearly, because he was with me at the time. He was definitely in pain when it first happened, and Crew rarely shows signs of pain, but that time he was definitely in pain. You could definitely tell. Yeah, he survived it.
And then more recently, he got cancer and he had to undergo surgery, and he recovered from that as well.
Think of all the things he survived: euthanasia, rattlesnake bites, cancer, animal attacks. I mean, it was before our time, but he survived getting slammed into a brick wall by a cow.
Yes.
Very stoic dog, and I felt like he could have been in the military. He had this internal schedule that everything had to go by. Like, I had to get up early every day. I still get up early to this day, and that's mainly because of Crew. At a certain time, almost at the exact same time every morning, he would be like, okay, now it's time to get up.
I guess he kind of trained us in a way, and he had these kind of rules that he seemed to make up that he expected us to follow. I ended up writing down some of his rules, and I called it the Crew Mandments.
The Crew Mandments. This was definitely specific to Crew, but I'm sure a lot of dog owners could probably relate to these.
Yeah. I think it was a couple years ago when we first started noticing something wasn't quite right with Crew. He seemed like he was starting to get a little bit clumsy. Sometimes he would stumble and fall, and then that started happening more and more.
Which I think we just kind of attributed to age.
But then his back legs just kept getting more and more weak, and he wasn't going on long walks anymore. He didn't seem interested in that. He was having more and more trouble with steps or going in and out of the vehicles.
And then eventually even just standing up was a big chore.
He has this wonderful curly tail that a lot of akitas do, but his tail was like this really tight curled spiral that would always just sit right on top of his back. Mm-hmm. And we noticed that it just started drooping, and that was really sad to see. And then he lost muscle tone in his back legs.
Those were really starting to get skinny, his legs.
Yeah, and that muscle loss just started kind of working its way up.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was just didn't have really much to control over his bladder or his bowels or anything like that.
We found out that most likely that was degenerative myelopathy. It's kind of like the dog version of ALS. There's a degeneration in the nerves, and it causes weakness and numbness and paralysis.
It's not painful, but everything just gets worse with time. You know, muscle weakness, the incontinence. Eventually it would probably have been where he wouldn't have been able to stand at all. And then I think eventually it leads to the muscles of the diaphragm weakening, and any dog that gets to that point would eventually suffocate.
When we started seeing that his quality of life was suffering, we decided it was time to say goodbye.
we don't live in the city, so finding resources can be kind of tough, but we did eventually get a hold of a vet that was able to come out here, and we had them put him down right here where he's most comfortable, where he wouldn't be anxious. And we just gave him the best couple of last days I think anyone could ask for. Just showered him with love and attention, and you fixed up a real nice last meal for him.
Yeah, filet mignon, bacon, smoked salmon. I made like a liver pate with some cream cheese, like all the things that he really loved. He enjoyed that. I'm glad he had a good appetite still, and he was able to enjoy that and spend time with the people he was closest to. My brother was right there with him the whole time.
And we were with him through the whole process, petting him, holding on to his paw. It's a tough decision to make, for sure. Something the vet had said that rang true with me is that you got to think of the animal's dignity and quality of life.
Like I said, Crew was our first dog, and we learned a lot from having him here. We learned a lot about dogs, but I think we learned some things about ourselves and some life lessons too. One thing I know I definitely learned from him is to be curious and always investigate and try to learn about the world.
I learned to be on task and to get up really early in the morning. I learned a lot of discipline from him.
And creating healthy routines. I think another thing is just knowing your boundaries and protecting your territory and protecting the people that you love too. That was important to him.
I learned don't let an akita sleep in your bed, because then that is that akita's bed and you will be pushed off.
Also, I think one wonderful thing about dogs is they know how to find joy in the simple things in life.
And just to be in the moment. Don't worry too much about the past or the future, but live for the here and now.
And be comfortable with yourself and be honest. Dogs don't care. It's like, oh, this is who I am. No apologies. Like they'll come and they'll fart right in front of you and I don't care. I also learned that love is not just a human thing, and also finding your pack, and building relationships based on trust. Also, I think we learned that life is short and you really have to treasure every moment.
He'd been a fixture out here for so many years, and it's such a huge part of our lives. It's been a week after he had passed, and each morning I get up, I still look over to the couch where he'd sleep on, and not seeing him there was, it's been tough.
It's gonna take a long time getting used to him not being here because it has been such a big part of our lives.
And I know, we're always going to be thinking about him, and we're always going to miss him. He'll always be a part of what we're doing out here. His memories, we'll always cherish that. We've shared a lot of our memories here, and we hope you guys enjoyed them. For any longtime viewers, if you got any Crew memories, drop those in the comments. We'd love to hear about that. Be a good time to just remember them. But we'll keep on building. We'll keep on building that life out here. Like I said, I like to think that he's still watching and inspecting everything that goes on over here. Well, thanks for coming along on this trip with us, kind of memorializing Crew. And we'll get back to the regular videos next week. Thank you all for being a part of our family. Crew, say goodbye to the people. Say goodbye.
Crew bear, we need the crew bear.
wherever you